going on, MMA fans? I'm back to do a video entitled StrikeForce and its acquisition of Pro Elite. Now, the reason I wanted to do this video was kind of to just talk about how this is going to change the landscape of MMA and what does StrikeForce bring to the table as far as competing with organizations such as the UFC. You could even say against organizations like Affliction, Dream, Sengoku, organizations like that. Of course, if you didn't already know, StrikeForce acquired the assets and all of the see how I can put this into a without using a whole bunch of legal terminology. Just had class tonight, so that's what's fresh in my mind is legal stuff. It was StrikeForce's acquisition of Pro Elite as its remaining attributes as a company. And with that acquisition, they got over 40 contracts of fighters. This included Jake Shields, KJ Noons, Kimbo Slice. I may have already mentioned this, but I'll go ahead and say it anyways. Nick Diaz. So many different people from Elite XC have now been branched over into StrikeForce. With StrikeForce buying up Pro Elite, they really have positioned themselves as the next front runner as far as competition to the UFC and a lot of the other major MMA companies. StrikeForce has done a very, very good job of keeping itself small, controlled, not really branching out too far. They had the deal and still continue to have the deal with Showtime. They really just kept it close to the California area. They've branched out to a couple other smaller shows here and there outside of California, but they've really tried to keep it centralized in those areas to where they know they're going to get a big audience and to build their fan base there and to really draw more fans in before they start going crazy, which is the perfect business model. That's what you need to do. You need to start small. Don't go crazy. Start with a small business-like approach, and then once you get little by little by little, you slowly branch out, and that's what they're doing. They're doing similar to the same model that the UFC used in its earlier days. StrikeForce now, with the acquisition of these fighters, and not just that, with the acquisition of the CBS deal that they have now acquired through Pro Elite's assets, and contracts, it really sets them up as a major player now. They've got not only Showtime, which is a major network on cable television, now they have the CBS deal, which is a major television company as far as free public television is concerned. So they have two venues now that they're going to be able to hit. That's huge for them. And if they do a good job, they're probably going to be brought back onto the CBS deal, which is awesome. And what this does, not only does it, put StrikeForce in the running as another, viable MMA corporation, but this gives us, the MMA fans, more solid, good MMA, because when companies like this compete with, the company that's the big dog, the company that really could almost monopolize this sport, you get good MMA because both companies are going to compete. You see it with Affliction. The UFC, to combat that, they've put on fight nights. They've put on reruns of cards. That's what this is all about, is you're getting to see more MMA because of this. And when you have competition, that's good, especially for this sport right now. So StrikeForce is doing that pretty effectively. And that's really how it changes the landscape, is that it's now going to be able to push itself as a major player here in the next couple years, if they still do well, which I think they are in the business model that they've used. They've done very, very well. They're going to be an organization to watch and to look out for, and to see how they make those baby steps and growing. They've got a fight coming up here soon between Nick Diaz and Frank Shamrock at the catchweight at 179. That's going to be very, very interesting, that fight. And I think there is a lot of potential good fights with bringing guys like Jake Shields in, bringing guys like KJ Noons in, bringing some of the other viable talent from Elite XC in. I think that's really going to open some doors and some really good cards. And now there's the talks of Cyborg Santos and Gina Carano being signed on, which that's awesome. That's really, really cool. And that's even that's one thing I was going to talk about, and I forgot to mention this, but I'm going to go ahead and mention it now. I was really hoping that the Strikeforce mindset would be to try to create a women's division. You know, the UFC's, excuse me, not the UFC's, Zuffa's smaller weight class company, of course, is the WEC. That's where they focus on the smaller weights. You know, they just cut the welterweight division, has now added the flyweight division, which is 125. You know, I just did not see, you know, the WEC really pushing a women's division when Dana White in the past has talked about not wanting to have a women's division. So, you know, him saying, oh, we'll give Gina a fight here and there when there's, you know, competition for it, that's not really a women's division. It looks like Strikeforce is going to push that. They're going to try to bring a women's division in. That's awesome. It's really, really good to see. So, Strikeforce is definitely, you know, a corporation and a company to look out for here in the next couple of years. They definitely, you know, with this acquisition of Pro Elite, the Elite XC assets, and they've also, I believe, with that acquisition, they also acquired some of the other smaller companies that the Pro Elite was in charge of, which I can't think of all of them off the top of my head. I'm sure a lot of you will know those, and it's just been that kind of a night with homework and stuff from my legal classes, but I do believe with them purchasing those assets, they've purchased some of those smaller organizations as well on top of that. So that means they have controlling interests of those companies and those MMA organizations. That's going to be very interesting to see how they do that. So this is definitely something to look out for. It's definitely a big shift in the MMA scene, and that's why I wanted to do a video on this. So leave some comments, constructive, negative, positive as always. Leave your thoughts about this. It's always good to have a great discussion about this. Keep in mind that everyone's going to have different viewpoints on this. Not everyone's going to have the same opinion on that, just like me. I might not have the same opinion as you. I mean, you may not agree with my opinions, which that's cool. It's the beauty of the sport. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. If everyone agreed, we wouldn't have great discussion. So, on that note, you guys have a great day.